Hello students, today we'll be discussing about Robert Browning's poem, My Last Duchess. As the name suggests, my last duchess means she's no longer there. It is part of both graduate level students and postgraduate level students, so imagine how important this poem is. Also, if I have taught you, you might be knowing that there are two poems by Robert Browning which are par excellence when it comes to the technique of dramatic monologue, because the kind of revelations they have, the kind of suspense they maintain until the end. This is something I really cherish about Robert Browning. And if you don't know what dramatic monologue is, then you must be you should know it, that it is a technique in which, see, it is made up of two words, dramatic and monologue. Dramatic means something that is actually dramatized, and Robert Browning has this quality of presenting the picture's view about the scene which is there. So that's why imagery is also there. If you will, once we'll start discussing the poem, you will come to know that the images are forming in front of you. I don't know where they form, but actually I can see them, and hopefully you too will be able to see those images. Another thing is that some of the elements, like the techniques, the poetic devices which are used are assonance, metaphors, simile. But there's another one also that is called enjambment. What is enjambment? When grammatical structures, not structures, rather grammatical tools are used. For example, if you see in Robert Browning's poetry, you will find that all the punctuation marks are used randomly. So in case he is using a full stop, that doesn't mean that the sentence is ending over there. And that's why, in case you are asked this question, that what are the failures of Robert Browning's poetry, so apart from saying that most of the candidates, they just say that his poems, they start abruptly. Yes, they do, but still the plot is fine. But the main problem which I find is that he uses hyphens and then semicolons and full stops, but even if he could have managed without them, or he could have used them at their proper places. So this is one of the failure. And in this one there are some people or things he has referred to, out of which one of them is Frappendolf. Frappendolf is actually a fictional artist. The whole incident has been actually inspired from true events happened back in 16th century, somewhere there in Italy. And that's why if you look at the names, Frappendolf sounds like some fancy artist from that particular era. And also, if you read it thoroughly, you will find that egoistic as well as egotistic qualities of this duke are actually being portrayed from all the other, like, these things also. Apart from his morbid obsessiveness, his compulsive disorders, how much control freak he was, these things are also discussed. So we'll be discussing this one also. All the incidents have been inspired, of course, are inspired from this true event. In case you have read My Last Duchess as well as Prophoria's Lover, which is another masterpiece, and still you would like to read something similar, then you can read The Ring and the Book, in which he has discussed about about a murder case, and he will make us go through these things. So in dramatic monologue, we have only one speaker. There could be one or more than one listeners, but speaker is always one. And from the speaker's narration, we come to know about the response of the listener or listeners, like, because in Fra Lippo Lippi there are more than one listener, right? The group, the guides, they are standing over there, but that's another thing. The rhyming scheme is pentameter. In case you don't know about the meters, I have already made a video back in 2018, or back in 2018, somewhere there. Please check that, because it's important to know the rhyming schemes and the meters. So in this one, there is this pentameter is used. Just a piece of information that because it's from the true events. So this lady who was killed was actually, her name was Lucrezia de Medici, or some people call it Medici. So because the pronunciation of this proper noun depends upon your own usage of the language. She was 14 when she married this duke, and she was 17 when she was killed. So let's get started and read this thing.
So the poem starts from here. That's my last touches, painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. It means she's no longer there, she's already dead. And then he says that this painting has been painted by some famous painter, some famous artist named Frappendolf, who worked ardently to get this masterpiece done. But he's upset. Now he starts expressing his rage, his upset, like his anger, and his possessiveness and the rage which developed over the period of time. He says that if you look at the picture, first of all, nobody else except me can can draw the curtain. Only I can do that. Nobody else can even look at her picture without my permission. So here his possessiveness starts coming up, and then he says that that see the meaning. If they durst means it's a past tense of dare. So he said that nobody can dare to look at her picture without my prior permission. But now he also starts expressing his disappointment. He says that if you look at her face, the smile, it's not just for her husband only, it is for some other people as well. Now if you see that it's just a painting can't have this kind of thing, but still he's possessive that when the curtain is withdrawn, when she even smiles at the other people standing over there, and her smile is not just for her husband. And then he says that when this guy, this Frappendolf, was actually painting her picture, she even smiled at his compliments. So while painting her picture, he might have admired her or might have passed some harmless compliments, but he couldn't even take them. He was so obsessive that he said that he felt like from this tone we can feel that he was more of that how dare someone even give compliments to her, and in case they have given, being a duchess, she shouldn't have smiled, she should have been more arrogant and ignored them. So he is a bit disappointed, and then he's furthermore disappointed that she was so easily impressed. So being a duchess, he had this feeling that she should be more distinguished, or she should have been more distinguished because she's dead now, about the things which are impressing her. So in case someone is getting her some bunch of cherries, someone is getting her some simple horse, she was happy with that. So he said this is not a good quality, or this any duchess should not have this kind of behavior. He was upset about this particular thing. And also he was more like that, being a duchess, she should be more happy that I have married her, I chose her. So that smile, that happiness should have been different from the she should have been impressed by me only, so because whatsoever I have done or whosoever I am. But she's looking to be more impressed by the other people. So also so this particular lines, if you see, so many things are there, like half flush that dies along her throat. So that blushing smile, the spot of joy, and easily impressed. So these are the lines which are telling us that he was kind of quite upset with the duchess's behavior, and he wasn't happy about the fact that how dare she also did this thing. So it is becoming more offensive for him now. So he's put off about this thing. Moving further, he says that would like she's also blushing. It's like she thanked Ben. Good, but thanked somehow. I not know how, as if she ranked my gift of 900 years old name. So he is like that. These guys, these commoners, these common people are getting her gifts. It's fine, but why to thank them? What they have done? She's the duchess. It's their duty to do anything to make her happy. Rather, she should be happy about the fact that she has got this legacy. She has married a man who has this 900-old empire. So, another disappointment that, comparing my 900 years old name with these simple, trivial gifts actually put him off. And also, is that some people might feel that I'm making a fuss out of it. I am not behaving properly. For other people, it would be something simpler, but he said for me, in case I would have corrected her behavior, I would have stooped to her level, which I never wanted and which I really wouldn't have done. She is the Duchess, she should have known that how to behave like one. So here he says that I much the same smile. This grew, I gave commands, and all smiles stopped together. It means I just ordered and she was killed. She died, right? So then he says, because now we feel like he's talking to some suitor, and some other people are also waiting for them downstairs. They might be on some first floor or second floor. And he says that I know that your discount will never disrespect me by not giving me the dowry. Although when they start moving downstairs, he says that I know, like, I don't need, look at this particular statue of this notice Neptune though, taming a seahorse thought a rarity. So this is such a rare thing is already with me. So I although don't need your dowry, but still whatsoever you feel that I deserve, and definitely something would be given to me. So this is how morbidly obsessive compulsive love can be, especially in Robert Browning's poetry, where lovers have usually killed their beloved over simple things, over trivial matters. So keep reading, keep uh, enjoying such poetry. Good night, take care.